Well, hello, everybody. It's good to see you. And I think we're already in a cheery mood from our pre-recording discussions, right? So tonight is Monday, February 5th. Boy, I'm getting confused already. And we made it another month. And in my experience, not only am I surviving, but I'm also prospering. And I think a lot of that has to do with the truth that we study and how it helps us on a daily basis. In any event, is there anything anyone would like to share with the group? No? Well, I kind of work alone with some of the things that I do. I don't know if any of you saw my first newsletter. It's called All Is Well. And it's the first of monthly issues I'd like to put out there. So I was just wondering if you saw it, if you had any comments or suggestions, or if you liked it, or my message, or the form. And if you didn't see it yet, so not to put anybody on the hook, take a look at, and the question will still apply. But I just wondered what you all thought of it.
Well, looks like you put a lot of work into it. I could say that.
Okay.
It was chock full.
Okay. Did I have too much?
No, it wasn't a criticism. It was a compliment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
I didn't get it. When did you put it out?
Oh boy, let's see.
February 1st.
February
in an
1st.
email.
You know, you check your spam, Joan.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd be interested in your comments. Quite frankly, I kind of work in the vacuum, and I try and check my stuff out, you know, and use means to make sure it's right and all of that. But I just gonna use some family to get some feedback. Okay. Yes. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Why don't we get into our agenda tonight? We were talking about maybe last week or the week before about references from the disappearance of the universe. And have you all read it by Gary Renard?
I have.
Not the whole thing, but parts of it.
Okay. Well, coincidentally, or what I would call synchronicity, that's not a word. I happened to see an excerpt from it, and I listened to it. It runs about 12 minutes or so. I thought you might be interested in hearing it, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, well, let's do that. And I'll share screen as usual. Let me make the right adjustments here. And okay, let me make sure we can all see it.
Before the beginning, there were no beginnings or endings. There was only the eternal always, which is still there and always shall be. There was only an awareness of unflawed oneness, and this oneness was so complete, so awe-striking and unlimited in its joyous extension that it would be impossible for anything to be aware of something else that was not itself. There was and is only God in this reality, which we will refer to as heaven. What God creates in his extension of himself is called Christ. But Christ is not in any way separate or different than God. It is exactly the same. Christ is not a part of God. It is an extension of the whole. Real love must be shared, and the perfect love that is shared in God's universe is beyond all human comprehension. Humans appear to be part of the whole, but Christ is all of it. The only possible distinction between Christ and God, if a distinction was possible, would be that God created Christ. He is the author. Christ did not create God or itself. Because of their perfect oneness, this doesn't really matter in heaven. God has created Christ to be exactly like God, and to share his eternal love and joy in a state of unencumbered, boundless, and unimaginable ecstasy. Unlike the concrete, specific world you appear to be in now, this constant and enthralling state of awareness is completely abstract, eternal, unchanging, and united. Christ then extends itself by creating new creations, or simultaneous extensions of the whole, which are also exactly the same in their perfect oneness with God and Christ. Thus Christ, like God, also creates, because it is exactly the same as God. These extensions do not go inward or outward, because in heaven there is no concept of space. There is only everywhere. The result of all this is the endless sharing of perfect love, which is beyond understanding. Then something appears to happen, which, as in a dream, doesn't really happen. It just appears to. For just an instant, for just one inconsequential fraction of a nanosecond, a very small aspect of Christ appears to have an idea that is not shared by God. It's kind of a what-if idea. It's like an innocent wondering in the form of a question, which unfortunately is followed by an apparent answer. The question, if it could be put into words, was, what would it be like if I were to go off and play on my own? Like a naive child playing with matches who burns down the house, you would have been much happier not to find out the answer to that question. For your state of innocence is about to be seemingly replaced by a state of fear and the erroneous, vicious defenses that this condition appears to require. Because your idea is not of God, he does not respond to it. To respond to it would be to give it reality. If God himself were to acknowledge anything except the idea of perfect oneness, then there would no longer be perfect oneness. There would no longer be a perfect state of heaven for you to return to. As we will see, you never really left anyway. You're still there, but you have entered into a nightmare state of illusion. While you have traveled only in dreams, God and Christ, who are always one, have continued as they always did and always will, completely unaffected by what Jay refers to in his course as the tiny mad idea of separation. In this cosmic instant of seeming individuality, and no matter how attractive you may think individuality is, it is nothing but separation. There seems to be a tiny aspect of Christ that is now aware of something else. That is duality. Now, instead of oneness, you have two-ness. Before, there was the perfect oneness of heaven and nothing else. That is non-duality, or non-two-ness. That is still reality. There is not really more than one thing, but now something different seems to be going on for you. There seems to be God and something else. That is the illusion of duality, and the world of multiplicity and the endless subjects and objects you perceive in it are merely symbolic of separation. While you may still try to create, you cannot really create without the power of God, so everything you make eventually falls apart. Each time a baby appears to be born into this world, it is merely reliving the time when it seemed to leave its perfect environment, in God, where all was nirvana, and it was completely taken care of and provided for, and then suddenly found itself slapped in the face by a seeming reality that was a living hell by comparison. You may think of birth as a miracle, but babies don't come into this world smiling, do they?
They come in crying and screaming.
Yes, the mind that is relieving the seeming separation has actually fallen asleep and is dreaming an idle, insignificant dream or nightmare. Because anything that seemed to be apart from heaven would have to be symbolic of an opposite to heaven. It would thus seem to include opposite characteristics. Once again, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We still have some explaining to do about your development from a seemingly separate mind into a universe of bodies, and why it feels so real to you and appears to be.
There's no doubt we believe we're experiencing reality here.
Absolutely. You must be shown the way out of this experience. Your asleep at the wheel mind doesn't know it, but it's going to wake up in the equivalent of a cosmic instant. That is because the voice for God and heaven, which we will refer to as the Holy Spirit, is still with you to remind you of the truth and call you to return. This fail-safe memory of what you really are can never be lost, making an awareness to the reality of heaven completely inevitable. However, this memory can be seemingly delayed by unwise choices in the dream. Unwise choices have been made by you all along. You have the power to choose the memory and strength of God or something else instead, and if you really examine your thoughts, you will find that you're usually choosing something else instead. That is what the part of your mind that chooses did immediately after the seeming separation. Out of shock, fear, and confusion, it made a series of unwise choices that resulted in you appearing to be here. You still don't realize that given the awesome power of the mind, certain choices made by you could end the seeming separation, and could have at any time. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy at this point, but it does mean that you are capable of accomplishing it, with some help. Make no mistake, in order to really accept God's helper, the Holy Spirit, you must begin to trust God. You cannot trust Him until you recognize that it is not Him, but you, who is responsible for your experiences. You will feel guilty until you understand that this world is not real, and that nothing has really happened. That doesn't mean you shouldn't act responsibly in the illusion. It means you must understand certain things in order to apply the true forgiveness that enables the Holy Spirit to help you the most. God could not have created this world. It would not be in His nature. He is not cruel, and as Jay points out to you, if this were the real world, God would be cruel, for no father could subject his children to this as the price of salvation and be loving. Happily, this is not the real world, and God is not cruel. That's why we want to emphasize a vital point for students of the coming millennium, even if you think we stress it too often. Everything just described that was not the perfect oneness of heaven, and anything that has appeared to happen since then, has absolutely nothing to do with God. The idea of separation, as well as your subsequent decisions, are things that God is totally unconcerned about. The events in a dream are of no consequence, simply because they're not really happening. Although it appears to you to be very real and often terrible, your universe is nothing but idle, miscreated thought, and energy is nothing but projected thought. I believe we've also made it clear that matter is just a different form of energy. Being without the power of God, all your mind can do is seemingly divide and subdivide and then attempt to glorify the result. Yet, to review, you are really still safe in heaven, and because what you are seeing is not true, you're not really able to hurt yourself. Even if you dream you're being hurt or even killed. In fact, you are able to awaken and continue with the perfect oneness of heaven exactly as you did before. But your mind must be trained to be dominated by the thoughts of the Holy Spirit instead of your ego. This requires the ability to make decisions that reflect the Holy Spirit's thought system instead of your own. So we must make an enormous and firm distinction between A Course in Miracles and virtually every other spiritual thought system in existence. From prehistoric to ancient Egyptian to Lao Tzu to aspects of Hinduism to Zoroastrianism to the Old Testament to the Quran to the New Testament and to other neo-dualistic systems. Every one of them is a system of duality that has some kind of a source, usually God or gods, being the creator in some way of that which is not itself, and then responding to it or interacting with it. In the 1990s, one of the most popular spiritual books ever written has God himself saying that he created fear. That is an inaccuracy so major, we cannot stress too much how completely false it is. God does not create anything that is not the perfect oneness of heaven. As Jay puts it very early in his course, when describing anything that doesn't reflect the thought system of the Holy Spirit, everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. And later on, you are at home in God, dreaming of exile, but perfectly capable of awakening to reality. Those are statements of non-duality. They are designed to save you time, and there are several thousand more like them in the course, just in case you don't hear Jay the first time, although it's apparent that even several thousand are not enough for many of your fellow students.
Is that because we're unconsciously afraid of its message?
Yes, it's not because of a lack of intelligence, but because of an abundance of unconscious resistance. We need you to help pass along some of the things that people don't want to hear, the vital things that are being ignored by so many. It's a dirty job, Gary, but someone's got to do it. We're not calling on you to judge or attack other teachers or argue with people, because forgiveness and arguing are mutually exclusive, and forgiveness is always the way. But the world isn't all sweetness and light, and when it comes to your writing, staying in line with everyone else isn't what's needed from you. By having you emphasize that the course is a self-study discipline, people are more likely to check it out for themselves and give the ideas a chance. Don't hold anything back. Anyone can write what people already believe, but if you're going to pass along our words, then what is needed is a willingness to say some things that people don't already believe. However, if you'll faithfully give our message, then I promise that when we leave you in the end, it will be on the most positive of notes. You will have learned about true joining, not with people on the level of bodies, but on the level of the mind, which is beyond all forms.
I take it there are important reasons why you keep pointing out the distinctions between duality and non-duality, and why you champion the real meaning of the Course?
Yes, it has to do with the laws of the mind and how true forgiveness works. Gary, the reason for understanding the Course is not merely for an intellectual comprehension. That plus $1 will get you a cup of coffee. The reason it will be extraordinarily helpful for you to understand Jay's course is so you can better apply it to the problems and situations that confront you in your alleged daily existence. It is the application of true forgiveness, along with Jay or the Holy Spirit. Very good. You're not stupid, Gary, although your ego would like for you to.
Okay. Are you still with me, people?
That was excellent. I love his book.
Yeah. I've read it. I've listened to it on like Audible. And it's like a classic, isn't it? It just kind of gets deeper. You don't get tired of it. Other comments about it? I apologize for all the technical difficulties in presenting it. I hope you'll bear with me. But any other comments about what was being said? Did you think it was a good summary of the truth?
Yeah, I think his whole book is a great summary.
Yeah. The subtitle, Straight Talks, something, on the subtitle. So yeah, Gary was a musician, a guitar player. So kind of fits my background. And let's see, I met Gary in New York a few years ago. That's the only time I've seen him in person. But be that as it may, I just thought it was something for ACIM Talks. And Julie, are you here? Unmute yourself there, my friend.
Hello, sorry it was
Hi.
logged on a little late. I'm glad I caught at least part of the video.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you could be here. And Julie's in our Tuesday group and wanted to also check out Monday night. So this is our illustrious panel of experienced A Course in Miracles students. And the way I would describe a lot of what we do is not so much studying the course as it is engaging with applications of it on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, good.
So when you came in, we were listening to an excerpt from The Disappearance of the Universe. Have you read that?
No, but I think I may have downloaded it from Audible or I at least listened to a sample of it, but I don't know. I don't think I forget if I purchased it or not.
Okay. Well, it's a great book for me. Listen, let's just take a minute. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group? And
Sure. My name's Julie Stout. I live in California, not far from Travis Air Force Base, if anybody knows where that is. I'm retired civil service. I was a fitness program manager at Travis Air Force Base for many years. I've been studying the course on and off for probably over 10 years, but a lot of it didn't make sense to me. And I live about an hour from where there were live groups meeting. But once, one of the good things from the pandemic was that, a lot of people met on Zoom, So because of that, I've been pretty consistent with attending different groups, usually in the evening. This is a little early for me, but it's good. Then I could do both if I want.
That's right. With the time difference here.
Yeah. So it's, this group starts at 4 for me.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I'm retired. I'm married. I have 2 dogs. They're kind of puppies, so you might see them in the background.
Oh yeah. We
playing or making noises,
running, and Joni's kitty cat. And anyhow, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
So, I'm attracted. I'm drawn into the course. I recently, like maybe in the last few months, I joined a healing team with Reverend Rudy from the Community Miracle Center out of San Francisco. And so every morning, most every mornings, except for Sunday, we join in at 9 a.m. and
Well, yeah.
we do the lesson together, and then we pray together for people who are on the list needing prayers.
Well, I think a lot of people in this group can relate to that because I get the feeling you guys have a fairly busy Zoom schedule as well. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
We meet daily.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Kathleen,
to
you
do the
do a lot of
course.
stuff on Zoom.
Excellent.
So we can relate to each other there. I just wanted to give them a chance to say something to you as if they'd like, Julie.
Okay,
Any
sounds great.
words of welcome and or wisdom for Julie?
I'm Dee from Connecticut, and you would remember if you read Gary Renard's book, so I highly recommend you reading it.
Okay.
It's a memorable book.
No,
You wouldn't
it
have forgotten.
absolutely is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and you see, we got a small but mighty group here. And Ron, you want to say anything, my friend? Oh, wait, you're muted,
You're
Ron.
muted, Ron.
I just want to finish up by saying we meet daily also because of COVID. We,
Right,
it was a weekly study group until COVID came along, and it's like,
and then
that's
it went to daily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Thanks,
Yeah.
Dee.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Well,
Ron.
if I have questions, I can contact you.
Oh yeah, but it would be, let's see, 6 a.m. for you. We meet at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
I gotcha. I didn't want to leave Ron out or Joan if there's anything you want to say, or Kathleen, forgive me.
Just hi, Julie. I'm glad to see you here. And I've been going to Jim's groups for how long? 30 years? Isn't that long?
2007, not 30 years.
30.
I think
Wow.
2007, I remember. Anywho, is there anything else? Well, we all thank you for being here. Hope you
Welcome.
enjoy it and find some things of value. We just did that book excerpt, and the main thing we're working on in ACIM Talks right now, I guess for the past 3 months or something like that, is a writing by master teacher of A Course in Miracles. His name is Charles Anderson. But Charles also has a very deep experience with addiction and recovery through the 12-step program. So he wrote this paper comparing A Course in Miracles to the 12-step program. And it's 45 pages long or so. And we are starting tonight on page 39, paragraph 2, right, Kathleen?
Yep.
Page 39, paragraph 2. I wish I could take the time to tell you more about it, but we're just going to have you jump in with us, Julie, and see what you think, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Ron, did you want to say anything to me? You were kind of cut off when
I'm fine.
Okay. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ron's a Course in Miracles teacher. We've known each other for, I don't know, 12 years, something like that.
Nice.
So I'll get things going here for this part of our study. And I'll start by sharing screen, and I'll pull up the reading and go to the right page, which is here. And yeah, 39, and we're starting here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And now I'll make it I'm working on it bigger. All right, that's good, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So what we do next, Julie, is just like on Tuesday night, we assign readers. So Dee is reader 1, Kathleen reader 2, Ron reader 3, Joan is 4. Julie, you're 5. Are you reading? Julie? Oops, I'm sorry.
I can if you want me to, as long as it's up there, because I don't have,
Oh,
unless
absolutely.
it's a,
We
what?
just read from the screen.
Okay, good.
Oh.
Then I can do it. Who am I after?
After Joan.
Joan. Okay, thank you.
Certainly. So without further ado, let's just start, Dee, and see if we can reconstruct and get back into the flow of this paper.
From the top, the first paragraph?
This right here, that's the
Okay.
first one,
Okay.
I think.
Not one light in heaven, but goes with you. Not one ray that shines forever in the mind of God, but shines on you. Heaven is joined with you in your advance to heaven. When such great lights have joined with you to give the little spark of your desire the power of God Himself, can you remain in darkness?
Thank you. You feel like reading another one, Dee? It's small.
Sure. Seek for that door and find it.
Yeah.
But before you try to open it, remind yourself no one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. And it is this request you make today.
Is that verbatim from the course? Or is he?
That no one could fail who, I don't know.
Do you know why I'm saying that? Or asking? I mean,
Yeah.
some of it, what?
It's not in quotes, so I'm going to guess it's not verbatim, but
No, I
it's
think
sure. What?
I think he's like paraphrasing and now he's giving his opinions.
Okay, thanks, Kathleen. Not one light in heaven, but goes with you. That sounds more directly, and maybe all of it. But he ends up with, in the second paragraph, Dee read, but before you try to open it, remind yourself no one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. That's a lesson title in the course, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
All right. Yeah, Ron?
I don't think it's a title, at least not one that I remember,
Me neither.
but it could be. It makes sense. It goes right along with the course, that's for sure.
All right. Well, that's close enough. Why don't we continue and see if we can get the flavor of this more completely? That brings us up to Kathleen, right?
Okay. Put out your hand and see how easily the door swings. Open with your one intent to go beyond it. Angels light the way, so that all darkness vanishes and you are standing in the light so bright and clear that you can understand all things you see. A tiny moment of surprise, perhaps, will make you pause before you realize the world you see before you in the light reflects the truth you knew and did not quite forget in wandering away in dreams.
Comments, my friends? Makes sense, kind of a continuation. So let's go. Who's number 3?
That would be me.
Excellent.
You cannot fail today. There walks with you the Spirit heaven sent you, that you might approach this door someday and through his aid slip effortlessly past it to the light. Today that day has come. Today God keeps his ancient promise to his holy Son, as does his Son remember his to him. This is a day of gladness, for we come to the appointed time and place where you will find the goal of all your searching here and all the seeking of the world, which end together as you pass beyond the door.
Read the rest. You may as well finish, please, Ron.
Yes. Thank you for answering your call. The decisive imperative of your need to share your awakening from the nothingness of this world is much appreciated. I love you. MT.
You're right. MT, master teacher. Sounds like a conclusion, doesn't it? Isn't it funny how vague this has gotten since we first started reading? I mean, it was clear, and even it started out talking about the 12-step program more properly. And then it kind of shifted with the focus from a Course in Miracles perspective. And now I can't quite see what he's doing here at the end.
I think he's just expressing himself, and he's letting you, in essence, what he's telling, what I'm getting from this is what the journey is, and this is where you've come to, and this is how you get there without, without having to repeat all the specifics. Basically, what he's saying is, there walks with you the Spirit of heaven sent you, that you might approach this door someday and through his and slip effortlessly past it to the light. And that day today has come. It's like, it's like, here it is, we're open to it and we're doing it.
All right. Where are you reading from, Kathleen?
This was the last paragraph, on page 40, the top of the paragraph there.
All right, so let me get on up to here.
So I think in all of this he's describing the process. It's not specifically the Course in Miracle. It's not specifically AA. It's a process that you travel through when you're doing when you're doing whatever study you're doing.
All right. So let me not belabor things, and I have some technical questions. For example, I said I wasn't going to belabor it, so let me stop, and I'll just say, see how some of this is in like regular print, some's in italics, some's in bold italics, to kind of seem to delineate it from regular editing or annotation. That's all I was observing. But I think more importantly, if it's okay for what we're on, let's try and give Julie a bit of an update as to how does 12 steps and A Course in Miracles compare, according to Charles Anderson?
I think in both of them, we
Yeah.
turn to a higher power, that it's not us doing it. We let go of the ego part, and turn to a higher power to get direction and guidance.
You know, by the way, a quick detour. I had my book sitting right here, so I look for No One Can Fail Who Seeks to Reach the Truth. It's lesson 139, okay? Just as a button-up activity.
Wow.
But,
Okay.
I'd like to read the paragraph on page 36
okay,
where he says, what happened was, and what happens with many of you.
wait, let me,
Okay,
so where everybody can look at it while you read.
okay.
Page
Keep
36.
keep going. Right, stop, right, what happens?
What happened was, yes, ma'am.
Okay. What happened was, and what happens with many of you, your revelatory reassociation causes you to recognize the 12-step program as a healing mechanism in which you immediately enter. The same thing will happen with many consciousness who have a revelatory reassociation in broad ranges of self when they pick up the Course in Miracles. They will immediately be able to see it or discern it at that level of recognition of their own mind. This, then, is just the practice of continuing visionary experience of re-identification of yourself within your own mind. But the value is never in the mechanism or method. The value is only in the continuing grace of a newly discovered reality.
And what is this newly discovered reality?
It's the oneness.
Yeah, absolutely. Other comments? What are some of the attributes of this newly discovered reality? Kathleen, what was the attribute you offered?
Pardon?
Just now, what was your comment?
It's, to me, it's both of them. It's bringing us to a higher power, which is bringing us to the oneness.
Yes.
It's bringing us beyond ourselves into a higher realm.
And so one of the attributes that you notice in this higher realm is oneness.
Yes.
What are some of the others that you would think are characteristic of this newly discovered realm?
Non-duality.
And some of the benefits then of this to be more specific, of this newly discovered reality, what are the benefits?
Peace of mind.
Yeah, I was going to say
joy,
peace, joy, happiness.
peace of mind. And the more you try it, it seems the better it works. The more time you pick it instead of that, it works in a reciprocal relationship to my willingness to let other stuff go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called in course terminology?
Forgiveness?
Yes, forgiveness. So the more I can forgive or let go of what I've been taught and all of the extraneous material and memory and all of that, in Eastern religion, it's a state called chitta. which is a mind unsullied with memory. It's a certain clarity. You remember he talks about a greater clarity as a benefit of this new reality. In short, this newly discovered reality is all my problems are solved. I stay joyful all the time. And all I have to do is let go of this made up reality in exchange for this newly discovered reality. How did I find out it was so amazing? Because it saved me from addiction that I was helpless to solve. So would I be, this is for you, Julie, okay? So would I be remiss, my friends, if I summarize that both A Course in Miracles and 12-step program says, let go and let God.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did I make up more than you were saying in that paragraph, Kathleen, or?
No, basically, that's basically what it is.
So is that helpful, Julie, just to see we're getting near the end of this writing when you joined us? So we're going to continue with it. But my take on it, and I think I speak for the group, is they both confirm if you want to solve all your problems, let go and let God. And it's not like it's saying something new. One of the things, the 12-step program, I keep repeating because it rings so true to me, is it will work if you work it.
Yep.
And we bear testimony to that. It will work to the extent that I work it. And the way I have faith in that is because I've seen how much it's worked so far instead of the way I used to feel or used to be. Hell, it's getting to the point where we're happy all the time, or at least we're working on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other comments, or Julie, do you have any?
Jim, what lesson did you say that was in?
131?
131. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
131.
Julie, you there?
Yes, I'm here. My cousin texted me.
Oh, okay.
So I was checking that because he doesn't text me hardly very often. I have never even met this cousin, so I thought, oh my gosh, did my aunt pass away?
Would I be better to ask you later or something to give you a chance to finish what you're doing?
Oh no, I'm done reading his text and I responded.
So if I told you let go and let God, and then you could stop your course studies and all your other reading and workshop and everything else, and just quote, let go and let God, it'll work if you work it. That's what we've gotten out of it so far. How we doing?
Right now, I'm not ready to relinquish control, but
we're still working. All of us are working on it, but your first step of willingness may still be covered up because all you did is said, I'll check out the meeting tonight.
Yes. Yes.
A lot
Yes,
of things. Go ahead, dear.
Oh, and I'm trying to get more involved with check out different meetings, but so far, you know, I love your Tuesday evening meeting, and this is wonderful too. And you know, I'm trying to try different things that are all groups that have to do with the Course in Miracles, and you know, the truth and spirituality and God. So yeah, I'm going to get this eventually. But yeah, I have the willingness.
Well, we're here only to be truly helpful. So to the extent you feel it's supportive, you know, it's good.
Yes.
We just do what we do every week, and those who it resonates will stay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, we've got a few more minutes. So let's go on into this, I believe, the last part of this. We were on 39, and actually we went to 40, didn't we, Ron? You finished there?
Yes.
And now we're at this new section for Joan. Joan, just read what's in the box, however you like. I'm not quite sure what it is, but let's see what you think.
Okay. I'm responsible. I am responsible. I must give it away to keep it. When anyone, anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of AA always to be there. And for that, I am responsible. I am responsible. When I am healed, I am not healed alone. I would share my healing with the world, that sickness and death be banished from the mind of God's one Son, who is my only self. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world. I light my mind and all the minds which God created one with me.
Let's do another. We're up to Julie, where it says from the big book of.
Okay. From the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, How It Works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program, usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest.
Do another paragraph, okay?
Sure. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps.
So let me finish this page, okay? And then we'll quit for tonight. At some of these, we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. So why don't we stop there tonight, which means we start on page 42, paragraph 1, correct?
I find this baffling that right off the bat, they're saying some are born such that constitutionally they cannot succeed at this program. I'm just amazed at that.
To me, it says who are not ready yet.
Yeah.
Does it said more than not? I thought it said like some are born that they just can't tell the truth and they're not going to get this. Then
I'm looking for the word born. It says they are not at fault. They seem
I don't know where it was, but somewhere it said
that way.
Yeah.
Comments, good point, D. Worth spending 1 minute on before we close.
There are such
Thinking
unfortunate.
that you know, that thing I read about, I am responsible. In retrospect, I think the ones on the left side were AA principles, and the
Yes.
ones on the right were Course in Miracles.
I agree.
Yeah.
Could he simply be saying not this lifetime?
Yeah. And basically what he's saying, and it goes for both the the 12-step program and for the Course in Miracles.
Yes.
Some people may just not understand the Course in Miracles. They may not be at that place where they can really connect with it, as well as there may be alcoholics out there who are not in the place where they can connect with the 12-step program at this point in time. These are just
those
methods of bringing you into a higher frequency. And there are, and even in the beginning of the Course in Miracles book, it says this is not the only path. There are other paths out there, but this is one path.
How's that registering with you, D?
I don't know. I find it. I just find it strange that you're like, no matter how hard you would try, you're born that way, and there's no way out of it. You're not gonna. You're born at this. What does it say? This unfortunate way of not being able to tell the truth, something of that sort. Like that sounds like karma to me. I don't know. It's pretty unsettling.
Yeah, maybe it's just an opinion, because he does say they seem to have been born that way.
Is it his opinion, or is this from the book?
No, this is directly from directly from the Alcoholics Anonymous big book.
Okay.
Right.
This is from the chapter in the book, and this is how, and they're explaining how this program works. And there may be some people who cannot connect to the 12-step program.
I would
Okay.
guess that, they make no promises, that there's no guarantee that
Yeah.
everybody who does their program is going to be healed. But they also said that, for most people, if they're honest and they do the steps or whatever, that the results are good.
Yeah, it's going back to the slogan. The slogan is from AA. It works if you work it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to take the action steps.
And some people, I believe, are not ready to take that step.
Exactly.
Again, you can lead a horse to water, but only they can actually drink. And if they're not willing to drink, to me, at will here is what? Free will, right? We always bump up against free will at some point. So I would just say, how's that, Dee?
It's fine. It is what it is. And I don't know. It just feels discouraging. It feels more like the statement, it works if you work it, would mean everyone give it a try, work it and see what it does for you. But this is saying right off the bat, some people are born and I don't know. It seems discouraging.
I'm going to try one more. It'll work if you work it.
Right.
That means it's up to you, right?
Right.
It's not a guarantee, right? It'll only work if you are ready to make the commitment. Kind of like lesson 20, I'm determined to see things differently.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
28, I above all else, I am determined to do whatever. I'll do this work.
But we don't come into programs. I didn't come into the course determined. I didn't even know what it was saying. So that comes after time, that commitment.
Correct.
I accept that that's what the AA program says. I totally accept it. I'm just surprised.
That time can't start unfolding until you take a first serious step.
Exactly. Of course.
Exactly.
Or you won't get out of the gate, no matter how much you wish and want and, I'd like to be. It only works if you take action. And it has to be a significant, serious, non-dual type step against all else, above all else, feeling there. But I'm putting stress on it. I think I'll just put a gentle, simple, open-hearted willingness to give it a try and see what happens. Maybe take some stressors off of it with the word determination and above all else, just as a little child.
The course actually says just a little willingness.
Yes. So are we ending finally on a note of accord here tonight?
We don't have to be in accord. It's okay. I mean, I don't, it's me. It's obviously this. I love the 12-step program. I was just was surprised by this wording.
It always makes me smile when I can wrap things up with a smile. A win-win where everybody gains, since we're only here to be truly helpful. So I like to create the smiley faces. Julie, it's payday again. This is Monday night payment, please. By the way, thank you so much for your financial donation as well. And Joan smiling, Kathleen, what's happening in Connecticut? All right, good deal, Ron. He's such a handsome guy. Look at him. All right.
That brought a
Anywho,
smile.
Thank you.
we're a pretty loose group here, Julie. I hope you'll come back.
Yes.
We're about to finish up here, and there's some other projects coming up that we're gonna work on. Okay.
I have a question. Do you actually do like a Sunday service or no?
No,
Okay.
just these two activities, although I will be putting on a series of workshops on Zoom soon, related both to A Course in Miracles and to something we call practical spirituality, defined as spiritual practice based on common sense.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for those, okay?
Okay, thank you. And I was like, wow. When I've contributed before to like say a church or whatever, I have to wait till like the following year to get any kind of receipt. And I wasn't expecting a receipt from you, to be honest, but it was very nice. Like, boom, you sent it like immediately or the next day or something. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm going to give more.
Well, great. I want you to know we appreciate it, okay?
Thank you. I'll give as I'm able to. It might not be every week, but thank you.
I look forward to that. That'll be great. All right. Thanks to everybody. I had a good
Thank
time. I
you.
hope you had we already got paid. So I'll
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
see you
Thank
guys
Namaste.
next time. Your
Namaste.
indulgence, we went a bit over, but that was spirit, okay? Don't blame me, okay?
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a blessed week, everybody.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you, you
night.
too.